Hello grade 5, welcome back to social studies for day 3. This week we learned a lot of new things. We learned about the Great Migration, which was mainly people from the British side of Europe coming over to Canada. We learned about why they were immigrating to Canada, why they were moving. We learned about their experiences in moving over on those coffin ships, remember? We talked about those coffin ships and what they were like. And then we also talked about a little place called Grosse-Isle, which is a small island in the St. Lawrence Peninsula where these migrants would come over and have a pretty rough start to their time in Canada. So we learned about what that was like and how it was before they could actually join a part of Canadian society. So we learned about why this was important to Canada, and we learned about kind of the impact that it had for Canadians and their futures. So now what we're going to do is we're going to carry on in our booklets, but we are going to go to the next page after the Grosse-Isle. And we will be answering some questions. So in this video, I will just be basically reading the questions out, explaining what some things might mean that you don't know. So I will go through them each question at a time just to help you understand a little bit more about it. Okay, so we should be on page 82, and we're going to go to question number 1. Why did immigrants come to Canada rather than go to Australia or New Zealand? So why did they decide to come to Canada rather than go down to Australia and New Zealand? Number 2, what was the most important reason for immigration? So what was it that made these people immigrate? Okay, what was the reason that they chose to immigrate, to leave their homeland? Number 3, what are some of the reasons why people immigrated? So what are some of the reasons why people immigrated other than that most important reason? So just list any other reasons that they may have immigrated. Number 4, what hardships did people suffer from on the ships? What hardships? So what things did the people have to deal with on the ships? What did they suffer from? Number 5, why were the ships called coffin ships? So those ships that they traveled on to come to Canada, why were they called coffin ships? Number 6, describe the hardships immigrants endured on Grosse-Isle. So describe the hard times or the hardships that the immigrants had to go through on Grosse-Isle. And the last question, number 7, why do you suppose the immigrants were held so long on Grosse-Isle? So why do you think that those immigrants, when coming into Canada, were quarantined for so long on that little island? Why do you suppose the immigrants were held so long on Grosse-Isle? Okay, so those were all of the questions for today. Make sure you complete those today and do a little bit of review. So reread those pages. They aren't that much, only about 3 pages, because tomorrow you will have a quiz. Tomorrow morning there will be a quiz. Just like the last couple of weeks you've had a social quiz. You'll have about 4 to 5 days to complete it. Make sure you pay attention to the due date. It'll be set on there. Please do not leave it to last minute. Sometimes we have technology problems and you won't be able to finish it on time if you don't do it as soon as you know you can. Okay, so do a little bit of review for today after you finish the questions, and tomorrow you'll have a quiz appear on Edmodo, so pay attention for that. It will be titled The Great Migration and Grosse-Isle. Okay, have a nice day.